Welcome to Aikido Fit Life. I'm your host, Kevin, and today we're going to be filming a video that explains the difference between the basic Kihon Waza framework of some Aikido techniques, and then we're going to take it into an application version of those techniques, and then add a Temi into those techniques as well for more practical real-life application. On YouTube, I see comments about Aikido and how they watch basic Kihon Waza framework of Aikido and say that that could never work, that's silly looking, nobody could do that in real life. Which, to a point, they're right. The basic framework is not application of Aikido, it's how the movement and how the Aikido works. To make a comparison, if you have any gun training, like handgun defense training, what they'll tell you to do is get your stance, grab your gun, draw your gun, point your gun, yell stop, and then start firing. And then return your gun, look around, and put your gun back. But in reality, if you're going to use your gun to defend yourself, or if you find yourself somewhere and someone starts shooting, and someone starts maybe to point a gun at you, or maybe not even to point at you, but it's in the area, you're not going to go, hold on, let me exaggeratedly grab my gun, draw my gun, point my gun. You're going to go, oh crap! And everybody accepts that that's the reality. You learn muscle memory and then you apply it in a tighter, rougher way. That's what I would like to illustrate today in this video. We're going to take basic Kihon Waza and tighten it up to a practical reality. So today we're going to start with a basic Tai Sabaki or body movement where he's going to grab same side and we're going to build up from here. So he's just going to grab my wrist, I'm going to step, Tenkan, and open the door for Ikkyo or Nikkyo or Sankyo or all of those. So, when we begin, basic framework movement. He grabs, I enter, I Tenkan, and I bring his arm up and kind of Kanagurimi in, shift my weight to wherever he is at the time. So I have tension here. So, to begin, 1, 2. Okay? Then we tighten it up a little bit so that he is punching at my face. And we come in. And this is basic, big, flowy framework Aikido. So he's punching in this big exaggerated punch where he starts from way back there and he comes in. And if I don't move, he's close enough to hit me. But basic framework, he waits, boom, I get out of the way, and I turn it back in and it's a great big pretty circle. So, let's look at that for a second. If he is punching me and I don't get out of the way, he's gonna hit me, right? So he's gonna punch me. What most martial arts do, what many people do, that is different from Aikido, is as he punches, they just punch it out of the way. Or he's punching in and they knock it out of the way. I don't have this here anymore. So as he comes in, if I knock this out of the way, sure, he didn't hit me, but I don't have any Aikido, even if I move over here. So as he punches, if I just knock this out of the way, I don't have the technique. So what sets Aikido apart, what makes Aikido Aiki, make this way a little bit? What makes Aikido Aiki is as he punches, I'm not pushing this like a hammer and a nail. I'm coming up alongside it like a drill and a screw. So as I step out of the way, as he extends, I am blending with his motion so that I'm not stopping his motion. I am able to turn his motion. with my body, not my hand. My hand's not really doing anything but blending with it. So as he punches, I'm coming up very smoothly. So he comes up, and now I have his hand. He punches, I move, and I move my body. My hand is just here. I'm just dragging it backwards with my body. And now as this motion comes around, I just begin to raise my hand up like I'm raising a sword and drive back into him, or just slightly offline so that it's toward his weak space. So, like the gun illustration earlier where people get really big exaggerated motions, when he's coming in to punch me in a real big exaggerated way, I'm stepping off, he's leaving his arm out. It's a real big exaggerated kind of movement. But to make it more practical, the same ideas happen as far as he's going to punch and recoil, and my hand is blending with it. He's recoiling in the direction that I'm going to be going. He's recoiling in the direction, so I'm using his intention against him. So as he punches, and I have his hand, I'm doing pretty much the same thing as far as he's punching in, and I'm blending with it, and then turning and taking it. But I'm stepping out of the way, I'm facing the other direction, and then turning with my whole body to bring him down. So as he punches, and I have him down. So the technique Kaitanage, if he's going to grab same side here, the technique itself, I need a spiral. And I'm going to step, and I'm going to take his head, and I'm going to push his arm across his balance and shift my weight and let him take his roll. So he grabs, I roll his balance and drop him down. So he grabs once again. So I'm taking this. As he grabs, I'm not fighting his force. As he grabs, I'm not pushing directly into where he's pushing. As he grabs, I begin to raise it up, right? So I start moving as soon as he grabs. And then I can cut it here, and then I can turn my hips. When I turn my hips, I extend this arm and cut this arm down and throw. So from the hand grab, as he grabs, I raise this up so it starts to draw it offline. As I step, my hand and foot move simultaneously. So go back. So he grabs, I step, I cut this down, which brings him offline. I cut this down, shift my weight, and throw. So to see that once again. And that is basic Kaitanage. But let's say he's grabbing my arm in a surprise and trying to punch me with the other hand, right? So I'm standing here and we're talking and he lunges in and grabs my arm. So I'm stepping out of the way of this. Instead of having to really block or worry about this, as soon as he grabs me, I'm moving out of the way. And this comes here and I can cut him down. To address that hand, just out of reflex, with my wheel, let's say he grabs my arm and he punches me at the same time. So I'm catching this one. Then I can come back and get his head too, or I can just cut his arm down. So he's grabbing me and he's gonna try to punch me. He's grabbing my arm and he's punching me at the same time. And I just cut him down and throw it. So let's say that he's punching and recoiling and he kind of has some training and he doesn't know how to roll or doesn't want to roll. And when he punches, I catch his arm and cut it down and get out of the way, but he is able to get in a good solid stance and doesn't want to go anywhere, how can we still move him? So we're going to start slowly and then make it work. So he punches in here, and I cut him down, and I have this connection here. And then he gets down into a really tight stance. Well, I can still throw him that way. So what happens is, as he comes down, once I get this connection here, by extending my arm, it rolls him. It moves him in a circle, right? By extending my arm. So once we get here, I still have the leverage of his elbow in my hand. I did catch his arm, so I still have this shoulder lock. So once we're here, he's in a good stance. He was able to bring his foot around. You want to bring your foot around? Like you don't want to fall anywhere, right? So I'm blending with him and matching him, and now I'm going to begin his motion and cut his head down and throw it. He punches, and then from here I have this. So he steps around, and so we're kind of in wrestling tight position, and so you can see this circle. As I extend, it brings his head around, which breaks his balance. So it comes around, and I can throw it. To talk about some more specific atemi for this kaitanage throw, as he punches, so this one here, I'm hitting him really hard, which is going to disorient him. Maybe even knock him out if it hits the jaw just right. So as he's coming in, I'm getting out of the way, and I'm running into him here and throwing him. Another atemi that we can do is this cut. So as he's coming in, I'm not meeting him here so much as this cuts down, I'm really cutting in the back of his skull, which is very dangerous, and don't play with that. But as he comes in, I'm going boom and hitting, just cutting down really hard as I can with that momentum, which can be really damaging. Another point that I'd like to make is with Aikido, everything doesn't have to end in throwing them to the ground. It doesn't have to be a finishing technique. I can just get away from it. Like when he's punching me and I cut him down, I don't have to throw him or roll. I'm behind him. I can just move. So more at speed, if he doesn't fall, and I'm behind him, and I'm out of the way. He didn't hit me. I might not have thrown him, but he's at a disadvantage in the moment because he's coming in, and then, we can come in with whatever else we know. It puts me in a better position. So that was a basic Aikido technique in the basic form, ratcheted up a little bit more so that you can see real practicality and application. And Aikido doesn't mean that every single time you're engaged that it ends in this great, big, pretty technique. You want to blend with the opponent in such a way that we gain the advantage with as little damage as possible to us, no impact to Nage, or as little as possible. And we want to blend with them so that we can take their balance and move them to a place where we have the dominant position. Today, we went over a basic Kihon Waza, how it looks big and pretty and flowy, and how we made it a little bit tighter and a little bit tighter and a little bit tighter, and addressed some real struggles that you may have with Aikido, like if people don't want to be thrown, which people don't want to be thrown, and how to get around some of that. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helps you. Thank you, James, for coming out. And please subscribe to Aiki Fit Life, and have a nice day.